Have you ever noticed that there's a missing episode of One Piece? If you're an American fan of One Piece, most streaming services will skip straight from 491 to 493, which you might not even notice because there's not really a gap in the narrative. That's because episode 492 is actually a crossover between One Piece and Toriko. In fact, 492 is the second part of the crossover. Part 1 is actually the very first episode of the Toriko anime. When Funimation was dubbing the Summit War Saga, they didn't have the rights to dub Toriko, and they didn't want to just have the second part of the crossover, so they just skipped it. And as a crossover, it serves its purpose well. It's very clear that the whole point of it is just to bring One Piece viewers to Toriko. In fact, most of the Straw Hats are sidelined and starving for the actual duration of the crossover. The Toriko supporting cast is also kinda underutilized. They just show up for a bit and don't really do anything spectacular. And I'm not the biggest fan of the creature designs in the crossover. One Piece normally excels at creature design, but really only the cake lions stick out to me here. The ending where Luffy and Toriko end up eating an entire island is also pretty funny, but I just don't know if it's worth sitting through the entire crossover to get. Really, unless you're a fan of both properties, you're better off just pretending that 492 doesn't exist.